friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm reading today for Taurus energy, and it's kind of like the early 2024 reading. So the first few months of 2024, what can you kind of expect? Now, I have got a bit of a fantasy theme to this set of readings. I've been into D&D, so we're gonna kind of embrace the element of imagination and storytelling, we're gonna kind of let you apply that in your own life as you see fit. Like, who is this character? Who are they in your own life? I'm just going to kind of tell you this story that's coming through in the cards. Yeah, the problem is, Taurus, what I'm kind of skirting around is that your reading was initially coming through as quite political. So there's a few things going on in the news that are kind of political at the moment. There's some things coming to light, and your reading was really trying to talk about this. I think because you're Taurus and you are the Hierophant in the tarot, sometimes my guides take it as an opportunity to talk about kind of anything that the Hierophant energy would be involved with, which can be kind of, the realm of kind of who's morning Mr. Magpie. A magpie has landed across from me. Maybe there's something about superstition in that as well. Anything that happens in a reading is part of the reading. So yeah, I didn't want to go down that route, basically, because when I have those readings, when it's some kind of difficult topics that are kind of, very emotive and very loaded, I prefer, it puts me in a sticky situation where I don't want to talk about it, but if my guys want me to talk about it, I sometimes will, but it's very uncomfortable for me. So I kind of put it out to my guys that I wanted more personal readings, and if they were going to talk about anything going on politically, then I don't want to know that I'm saying it. So I will say things without realizing I'm saying it, basically. So yeah, that's where we stand. You seem to be, I want to actually say this reading might be a cross-watcher reading. The first card that came out is indicating that whoever this reading is for, whether you're Taurus or perhaps you're another sign, there could be somebody who's passed over, somebody on the other side who is helping you, who you're maybe speaking to, maybe praying to, who's coming in to support you. Now, I did have a visit from one of my ancestors on my paternal side last night. So my nana, my dad's mum, which was a very emotional kind of meeting for me, to kind of have that visit from my nana. So yeah, this, you may have a feeling of kind of your ancestors' support, hands on your shoulder. People are behind you, people are watching out for you. They could be almost warning you of something that's coming in, is what I'm kind of getting for you. Now let me just kind of check my notes and things. So on kind of the earthly plane, if you like, you in your reality, you in your day-to-day, there could be something, and again, it could be something that you're seeing on the news. There could be something that's really kind of making you rage. Again, a lot of D&D terms coming through, so one of you out there must be playing D&D, because yeah, it's the method of communication at the moment. So yeah, there's an ability, I think it is, called rage, where it's kind of like it boosts you when you're kind of going into battle. And so, but it feels a little bit like, maybe your intelligence goes down and things like that. I don't know, I'm kind of very new to it. So this idea of kind of when you get in a rage, when you get all fired up, and you get angry, you just kind of want to go in and throw fists. And maybe some of you have like Taurus Mars placement. Your Mars placement rules the house of anger, and what you do when you're angry. And earth sign Mars placements can be quite physical, as can sometimes what fire sign placements. So there's the need to kind of, sometimes, go to do something. I say this to my Virgo Mars placements all the time. It's like, do something physical to get that energy out, because everything's just energy, and anger is a very, very strong source of energy, and you can channel it into something that's positive. So you're getting all worked up, you're getting angry, I don't know, go for a run, or go for a walk. I don't know, it depends on your own ability levels, right? So ability levels, see how I'm talking. And you know, maybe kind of, you know, go to the gym, punch a punching bag, or just punch a pillow, you know, whatever you need to do to get that, the physical energy kind of out of your body in a way that's not destructive, you know, and it's not going to kind of come back at you. Karma's a big thing at the moment. We're in Capricorn season. You do have some Capricorn energy, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And Capricorn, I've been noticing a big karma energy, like big time karma energy. So this is a funny one. In one of my last readings, it was kind of one of the ones that were kind of like, whoever needs to hear it, open messages, you know, whatever comes through, comes through. I heard look to Japan, and I thought, what's going on with Japan? Like, and I don't tend to look at the news too heavily, but I kind of like Googled what's going on in Japan, and it was like breaking news 2 hours ago. Japan have lifted their restrictions on selling weapons, and they're selling. I mean, you can Google it, you can look into it. They're selling kind of like missiles, I think, that, you know, had previously had a restriction on the ability to sell that. So that's kind of a bit of a warning sign, right? If you know, nations are lifting weapons restrictions, it's not really something I want to see. And so it felt to me like that was a bad move energetically, right? That's generating bad karma to be, you know, putting more destruction into the world, let's put it that way. And then this week in the news, Japan is big time in the news again with an aeroplane accident. I don't know the full details of it. Again, I don't tend to watch the news because it angers me, right? And it angers me in a way where it's not a constructive kind of anger, you know, because a lot of the time you just can't do anything about it, and it kind of ruins your day-to-day life. So, you know, having some idea of what's going on without getting too sucked into it, I think is important. So yeah, so it felt a little bit like this was kind of that kind of Saturn Capricorn karma of, okay, you've done something that is energetically, maybe even if it's being done for the good reasons, the energetic action of that is maybe a negative action, you know, to be, again, putting something that's more destructive into the world. And so that was it came back at them, is the way it felt. Now, again, I don't know the ins and outs of that. I just read energy. Again, it's just a bit of maybe a bird's eye or simplistic view of what's going on. But again, I've been noticing big time karma energy. So for example, I overindulged at Christmas. I'm now fighting off the after effects of stomach flu. So if you're noticing that in my voice, I'm still recovering. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I said to myself, I'm not going to drink. Like, New Year's Eve is the last day that I'm drinking, but I finished off a bottle of Bailey's on the 1st. And I feel like because I broke my own rule, karma came immediately to get me, because on the 2nd I was throwing up. So it's kind of like my body purged. So again, actions have consequences. So just be very, very careful about what you're putting out energetically into the world at this time. You do actually have Capricorn here. So again, your reading starts with this feeling of, and I will pull cards on camera in a moment. Your reading starts with this energy of somebody who's in heaven. Heaven is a word that came through for you, which I'll touch on in a second, who's kind of sending you signs, or they're trying to get your attention. It's like they're throwing feathers at you kind of thing. And the feathers represent whatever sign you use to communicate with that guide. So for example, my mum and my grandma, my maternal line, come through as robins. If I see robins, that can often mean my maternal ancestors are around. So, you know, and white feathers tend to just be my spirit guides, my guardians, my angels in general will send me white feathers if it's to show me a positive omen. You know, if I have a certain thought, to see a white feather is almost like a confirmation. Yes, you know, that is the right path to go down. And so you develop these signs and symbols. You know, every single family will have different symbolism, which means different things. So it's just, it doesn't have to be a white feather is what I'm saying. It's whatever is symbolic for you in terms of ancestors and family members on the other side, loved ones on the other side. It actually feels like it's strange for me as a reader, because if I'm reading for Taurus, I'd say Taurus is the one who's on the other side, right? But the readings are intended for people who are living and in this reality. So I want to say the reading is intended for the Queen of Pentacles, and this is Capricorn energy. It doesn't have to be Capricorn. It could be Capricorn placements. It can just be because we're in Capricorn season. I am saying that this is whoever this reading is intended for, I want to say is kind of wife mother energy, partner energy, because we also have the Empress here, which is you. This is your card in the tarot with the star underneath that. Oh no, I don't know. It could be a mother or a maternal energy. Flip it and reverse it as needs be. There's a lot of maternal energy here with this kind of star energy. We also have this King of Earth showing up again with the deer and the antlers. So I'm just kind of making a note of that mentally myself for this reading. I don't really know who's who. With the Three of Swords, there could be something with somebody's heart, and the Knight of Cups as well. I don't know. Could be something about mending a broken heart. You know, maybe grief isn't here. I'm not seeing the Five of Cups. I'm not sure. I did have a sense for you of there could be a situation where there could be maybe people who are getting on in years in the family. So kind of think grandparents, you know, or older mother and father, where perhaps there could be some concern if the male figure has perhaps passed on or is sick. There could be some concern around the remaining female member. So if this was grandmother and grandfather, and the grandfather has recently perhaps passed, the grandmother is now living alone, right? They've lost their life companion. So there could be some concern around, are they going to be okay? Maybe we need to check in on this person. Maybe we need to help this person out. There could definitely be stuff about the home, like cleaning the home or sorting through, you know, like the stuff that piles, just because you've got this dust devil. And I did see, it didn't come out on the underlying, but I saw it in the split as I was kind of, you know, doing that. The tidy home. So it could be something, but this could be a very specific message for just for one person. I'll kind of pull clarifiers in a minute so you know if this is your reading or not. But it should be making some sort of sense if it is for you. Yeah, there could be something about, you know, elderly people when they've lived in a home for a very long time. You know, the life piles up. You know, you get a lot of you know, things that get tucked away in boxes that need sorting. So there could be something about this where it's maybe trying to simplify, especially if the older relative needs to move into perhaps a smaller home. You know, they want to sell the property, free up some of the value of that home. And oh, I just realized, so hello, if anyone's watching that knows me, I recognize how this fits in with the Taurus. I was actually thinking though of my own, the relative that visited me, like I say, was my nana. And so my nana's husband, my grandpa, did pass away kind of a long time actually before she did. And so she lived for many, many years kind of independently. And that was a big thing for her. There could be some upset around selling a home that's been in a family for a long time. That also came through in a couple of different ways for me last night. So that could definitely be a message for you. You know, it's coming through with things that I recognize so that I can understand the message that needs to come through for you. Yeah, so it's kind of like a sadness about a sadness about a home that was sold on somebody's side. I'm hearing you can't hold on to things forever. Okay, thank you. So it doesn't feel like that's a grudge, which is interesting because you do actually have some grudge energy. Again, so your song was Seven Nation Army. This is the first song that came through for you. It's the Zella Day cover. And Hold Me Back was really standing out to me. You know, like when you're really angry with somebody and you're like, hold me back. You know, like when I started my meditation, I was getting roses, specifically white and red roses, which makes me think of the War of the Roses, you know, the whole Tudor Lancaster thing. So that was coming through the message of two branches of the same tree. So a family that's kind of split into two. Similar to, this is maybe what the deer horns are talking to me about. You know, I said I was trying to get something from these deer horns. It's like two branches of one tree. You know, one person with two sons or two children who, you know, start their own families. You know how family trees work. It's interesting, there is a tree on this card as well, and it's a red tree. Aries and Taurus talk to each other a lot. I don't know if there's somebody on the cusp, but there was a maple tree in Aries' reading. And this character was also in Aries' reading. He was kind of hosting an event. Everybody was going to see the Oak King in Aries' reading. So if that's making sense to you, go and check that out. Yeah, something about two branches of the same tree, like a family that's feuding, a family that's split. Could be something about, again, inheritance perhaps, if somebody has passed. The death card isn't here. The grief card isn't here, the Five of Cups. So again, it could be something that happened a while ago, but maybe your situation's changing and that is creating some animosity. So for example, it could be a situation like with my nana. She lived, like I say, my granddad died when I was maybe about 6. And my nana's only just recently died, so 30 plus years she lived on her own. And so it could be something like that where, you know, obviously we saw the signs that she was getting sicker, and so you start to think, okay, well, what's going to happen to the home? You know, she had to go into a nursing home, so we sold her home in order to pay for the nursing home fees. There could be a situation like that where, you know, it's like forward thinking, planning ahead because you're seeing the signs of something. But again, there could be some disagreement or animosity. Feels a bit like an old grudge. It could be an old grudge coming back up. Again, sometimes maybe this is something you've experienced at Christmas where, you know, you don't really get on with the other side of the family and, you know, you're going to start butting heads almost, you know, hold me back. War of the Roses. A 7-nation army. 7-nation army seems political again. I want to avoid that. I wasn't surprised. Again, I was expecting something political, and the first song that came through for you was 7-nation army. It makes me think of like the UN or, you know, the, what is it, 6 Nations Cup and, you know, things like that, you know. The other song that came through for you was Take Me Out by Franz Ferdinand, which obviously, again, has a slightly ominous tone to it. He says, I'm just a crosshair away from you, you know. So it feels like having someone in your sights or somebody's got you in their sights. You know, again, it feels like it might all perhaps kick off. I want to say avoid that. There was definitely a message in Aries' reading that said avoid conflict. You do have a chaos card here with the stag spirit leadership. Here's that stag again. And wolf spirit family. Okay. Yeah. Somebody who's like stepping up as head of the family. Miracles underneath that as well. Okay. So with this idea of a person or a grudge, I heard you're not quite letting go yet. So I heard a full sentence for you in meditation. You're not quite letting go yet. And it did feel like it was difficult perhaps to let go of somebody who passed over, or it's difficult to let go of a person who could be living, and kind of cut ties with them. It could be that you're in a bit of a habit of perhaps maybe this is somebody that you've lost contact with, you know, an old friend, an old family member. You don't talk to them anymore, but you check their social media daily. You could have a habit of checking in on them on social media, and it's hard to kind of break that habit. You know, it's almost like the last thread. It's almost like knowing you have to let go of that thread, knowing that thread needs to break, but still thinking about that person, and it being quite difficult to let them fully go. Or it's a grudge. right? Or it's an old, feels very old, an old grudge that, you know, you just can't get over, right? It's like, I can't make amends with that person because, you know, they keep bringing it back up, or, you know, situations keep happening that remind us of it. It's like something you just can't let go of. Again, just take anything that resonates there, leave anything that doesn't. It might not be your reading. It's not going to be 100% resonating with everybody. I know that. I asked for the most important message to come through that's going to do the most good at the start of every reading. So whether this is something that applies to a lot of people or one person in particular, it depends on my guides and what they want to talk about. I just trust my guides and say whatever comes through. So there could be, I was shown when my dad died, I put a red string around his wrist just as a way of keeping him with me, you know, a little bit longer. And so a red string could be something for somebody. Again, it could just be symbolizing a connection with somebody on the other side. I got the song in meditation. So the first two songs, Seven Nation Army and Take Me Out, both came through on Spotify. They're both randomized on Spotify. Two songs came through psychically for you. One last night was Show Me Heaven, like a radio being turned on in my head when I was trying to sleep. Somebody could be having trouble sleeping, a lot of maybe, you know, thoughts racing, can't quite get to sleep, a little bit of tension or anxiety there, stress. Couldn't sleep last night, and like I say, Show Me Heaven came on in my head like a radio being turned on. So it's that show me heaven, comfort me. I don't know the words. Leave me breathless. It's an oldie. I've not heard it for a long time. Again, totally came out of the blue. So Show Me Heaven. So this idea of, if any of you are perhaps meditating, perhaps communicating with people on the other side. Just these look to me, especially with the Empress there. Oh, Heart of the Sky as well. It's like the Empress, whoever this is communicating with the star energy, right? With the higher forces. And really interestingly, underneath Stand Still is Heart of the Sky, where it's like communicating with. This is what I do in meditation. So the way that I allow the messages to come through, I have a few different methods. One of them, and the most, what feels very high vibrational, is that I internally kind of envision the heart of a star and how bright that is. And I kind of open that up like a gate or a portal. And this is how the messages come through for me. Curiously, underneath that is fear and surrender. It feels a little bit like somebody getting a message, because after that, underneath, it's like the message that comes through. And again, look how he's like looking up at this force in the sky. It's kind of like a message coming through from your guides, who obviously, you know, they've got your back. They are looking after you. They are trying to warn you or tell you about something. But whatever they seem to be telling you about seems to be generating some fear within you. Again, it's almost like being able to see a storm coming, because like I say, chaos is underneath this. So I want to say, very similar to Aries' reading, it feels a little bit like you're getting a bit of an intuitive heads up, perhaps so that you can take the lead in your family when the storm hits. I've had some readings like this. I think Cancer had one quite similar a while back, where it's like when the storm hits, everybody goes to Cancer's house. It's like that's the plan. So yeah, I'm seeing this definitely as you, just because the King of Earth, and again, don't worry too much about gender in the reading, take it more as the energy and the characteristics of that person than the gender on the card. But the Stag Spirit and the King of Earth feels like Taurus energy to me. Yeah, it feels like you're going to need to step up and take the lead in the family, because you are getting, look at this guy in the sky, this like Zeus figure with the lightning bolt. You're getting a heads up that something's coming in. And again, it's not a message that you want to hear, perhaps, because it feels there is some chaos about this, you know. It's kind of like getting bad news. Look at the earth underneath that as well. Look at how lovely that is, the heart of the sky and the earth. It's like the messages from the sky coming down and grounding in you, right? You're pulling this in, right? You're like the earth conduit for whatever this is, right? Whatever this is that's up above trying to get your attention. So what else did I want to say? I want to talk about this underlying before we kind of move on too far. The Empress, teachability, 3 of Earth, really interesting. The Root Girl, the disowned self underneath that. And love. Right, let me just show you. So these were the top facing cards. Underneath, we've got these cards. There's some really gorgeous energy going on here. So there is some fear, there is some heartache, but it's being soothed by all this Cups energy. Knight of Cups underneath that. There's this Caterpillar card, opportunity and crown games, the right use of power. Yeah, so when you get in any kind of leadership position, it could be something where I don't know why it's coming through, like, because there's nothing to indicate anyone's passed away or that anyone's about to pass away, but what I'm being shown is sort of like how my dad, when my nana was getting very poorly and she was unable to kind of like manage her own finances and things like that, he kind of stepped up as there's like legal things that say that you can manage someone's finances on someone else's behalf, you know, with their best interests. And so it feels a little bit like that. Obviously my dad was the one who was sorting out Nana's will and things like this. So yeah, it feels a little bit like, you know, it falls to you to be the head of the family now. Perhaps this is the funny thing is I wrote down paternal and then you've got all this maternal energy going through. So it could be like your dad's family, right? Your paternal line, but it's talking about a woman, like a grandmother in the paternal line or something like that. But there's all this love. So there could be this feeling of disowned self, root girl, teachability. And the 3 of Earth, 3 of Pentacles with the love card. It feels like, because Empress is very high vibrational energy. I am kind of reading this as Taurus energy, but again, it could be a mother, whoever this is. This person feels very open. The Emperor does what the Emperor does, right? The Emperor can be a bit more closed and a bit more authoritative. The Empress authority is a very democratic authority. She's very open, she listens, she supports, she works collectively, she works as part of a team. And this seems to be the character of this one, whoever this is. Disowned self. There could be some self-love, some self-healing going on with that. You know, finding, again, this was featured quite heavily in Aries' reading, this kind of finding your own balance, you know, being able to kind of like stand in the middle of the storm. I don't recommend anyone do this, just metaphorically. Stand on the mountaintop in the middle of a storm and know that your spirit guides are around you and that storm is not going to hit you. That storm is going to pass you by. You know, power of positive thinking almost. I am loved, I am protected, I am safe. These kind of things. Okay. I just heard something coming in, which I think I may have said already in the reading, but I heard it. So show me heaven. It's kind of like, it's this feeling of reassure me that there's something good waiting for me. You know, like maybe life is very stormy. This reality is very difficult perhaps for some of you. And so it's kind of like, show me that there's something good in the next life, right? Show me heaven. What is the afterlife like? You know, something like this. The other song that came through intuitively was I've got to get out of this place if it's the last thing I ever do. So make of that as you will. I don't know who it's by. It'll be down in the description box below with your other songs. I gotta get out of this place if it's the last thing I ever do. So you've kind of got 2 golden oldies coming through there. They do feel like older songs to me. Okay. I'm going to mention this and then I'm going to pull some cards on camera for you, just so you kind of know if this is your reading or not. So the Crows and the Whale and the Gate. So the whale to me, which is coming through here in your reading as well, the whale is, this is my own kind of deck that came through meditation. It has certain meanings that I associate it with it, but if it means something specifically to you, you can run with that. Again, use your own interpretation, you know, to understand the messages that are coming through for you as an individual. What I'm getting from this personally as the messenger, the whale is something big and something deep. So it can indicate emotions. The whale can go really deep into the ocean. In the ocean, water tends to symbolize either psychic ability or emotions. So a big, maybe a secret. The whale often has this kind of feeling of a deep feeling or a deep secret or a deep emotion that's almost been buried, coming back up. It resurfaces. The whale's a mammal, right? I think it has to come up for air. So the whale has to resurface. You know, what is hidden has to come back into the light and be in view. It also travels. What I was picking up from it today when it came through is this idea of the whale traveling through different realms. So of course we associate the whale with the ocean in this reality, but my card also carries a message of the star whale, right? This energy that is, it exists beyond time and space, a bit like Doctor Who. If you've ever watched The Beast Below, it makes me think of that, you know, the star whale, which is interesting because I think I saw somewhere in this deck, hanging around in the underlying, you do actually have the Time Master. So this kind of is beyond time and space, right? It's been, the star whale's been there since the beginning of time itself, and it will be there at the end of time. It's this energy is something that is beyond our reality. So it goes, the whale to me does go into the ocean and into the stars. It's like all one and the same in a way. And then what's really interesting is I was pulling this from the cards, and then this card came out, which really does symbolize, I mean, I think maybe it's a dolphin, but in this reading, for the sake of what I'm picking up on, it's a whale. So this idea of it going in and out of two realities. So perhaps you have this ability to exist in two spaces at once. You know, you're existing in this plane, but, and this is where the gate comes in, right? The portal between our reality and their reality. And you perhaps almost being a, as I'm doing in this reading, right, as opening myself up, meditating, letting the messages come through, seeing what I hear. You perhaps, maybe you scry, or perhaps you might be interested in attempting to scry as part of your divination technique, if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, it's kind of like this gateway between the two realms of consciousness and unconsciousness, perhaps. Interesting underlying you've got going on there. What I want to do for you right now is get you some identifiers. So if you're still a little bit unsure if this reading's for you or not, hopefully this should give you a bit more of a sense. So I've got some Scrabble tiles. I'm hearing 5. Okay, we'll get 5 Scrabble tiles for you. So that whatever comes through for you, it should make some sense to you. H, it could be initials. It could spell out something. I can't see what I'm getting, by the way. Oh, okay, you've got 5. Hop, we've got so far. It makes me think of hope. Hope. Look at that. You saw that. Hope. You. Hope you. Isn't that a lovely... I love using my Scrabble tiles. I've got full body goosebumps right now. Spirit bumps. Hope you. I love doing that. Love doing that. Thank you for that lovely message. I think I'm gonna cry. Okay, and we're gonna get some words. 3, okay. Some words for Taurus, please. I don't know if they're sending you, telling you to have hope, or if you are the hope. They're giving me, I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. Sorry, my singing's terrible. Dragons hold protecting the future. So dragons to me symbolize whatever this energy is that's up, right? Whatever this this energy that's beyond us, that's in the sky, it's this big messenger, right? This big subconscious presence, whatever this is. Dragons can symbolize that, as the whale does. And dragons are guardians for me. So dragonhood, protecting the future. And these look like eggs. I had some stuff in the last readings about dragon eggs. It's kind of like, in one meditation, it was kind of creepy. Listen, I take what I'm given. This kind of dragon came down and kind of into my body, like a big serpent, right? And kind of like laid eggs in my stomach, which is interesting. I've had a tummy bug and a nice purge. But again, like, eggs can be symbolize future, like children. I believe the children of the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Household. Again, we're getting a lot of stuff about home, houses, family. Give them a sense of pride. So what they're giving me now is the old concept of like the divine right to rule. You know, we're talking like old-fashioned kings again, probably pre-Tudors, medieval time kings, where you know, God chose the king. You know, the king was chosen by God to rule. This concept, again, take it or leave it. You know, people believe different things. I'm saying that it was a historical way of thinking, but with that, the king had a duty of care to his people. You know, he wasn't just there to be like Richard II, if you've read the Shakespeare play, of, you know, taking what he wants and kind of whining and dining and, you know, having a good time at the expense of his people. The king had a duty of care to protect his realm and to do good and, you know, to make a healthy populace and to make sure his people were protected. You know, they were under his wing, so to speak. I'm getting patted on the back. So it does have a little bit of a feeling of that, doesn't it? And again, it doesn't have to be gender, king, queen, empress, whatever you want to call it, whoever's in leadership. You know, with this star energy, like, look at it. It's like, this is the person who's been chosen here by whatever you want to say is above, to lead the family, to lead the household. I believe the children are the future. I'm going to have to make a note of that song. What am I on? 37 minutes. I'm actually just going to pause right now, make a note of that song before I forget, and then we'll carry on with the reading. There's a lot of fear-mongering going on in the press at the moment around Gen Alpha, which are, you know, the kids who are just starting to come online now. So sort of 12, 13-year-olds, like, you know, they've been raised by computer games, you know, playing Fortnite and like raised on TikTok. Well, they shouldn't be on TikTok if they're not 13, but this idea of kind of like, you know, these kids who are kind of wild, like that's the narrative that's being pushed. Kids are always a little bit wild, right? You know, that's why we have parents. That's why they're legally defined as children and they need parental supervision or adult supervision, because kids are stupid. I made a post yesterday on Twitter, which I actually deleted because I didn't want to inspire anyone, about some of the shenanigans I got up to when I was a teenager and I was left unsupervised. And I was like, listen, computer games keep me out of trouble. I went to university because The Sims 2 made it feel accessible to me, because before that, I didn't know anyone who went to university. I didn't really know how you got there. It's something posh people did. Oh, the Eton was coming through for you. I forgot to make the note. It was coming through in the middle of the night. Completely forgot about it. So there could be things, again, this could be something in the news, something coming to light about, you know, like the Eton set. Did like Tony Blair go there? I don't know. It's like a posh school in the UK. A lot of politicians go there. I'm not saying anything good or bad about it. I haven't been. Don't know. But it was going to be, it could be something like an Eton mess as well. Maybe somebody's just making dessert. Eton mess. There could be again, it feels like a mess at Eton. I don't know. Spring, household spring. That's for Taurus. Sounds like a book title. The mess at Eton. It's like a mystery. Bird, spring bird. I don't know. Watch out for the spring birds. I was talking about robins, so maybe robins could be significant. I think there was a bluebird in, I'm getting bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover. I'm getting a lot of songs for you. I can make another note of it. Sorry guys, I know the reading's slowing down a bit. Bluebirds. It's funny that it came through for you. and not... That's a wartime song, by the way, Bluebirds Over the White Cliffs of Dover. Yeah, it's funny that it came through for you and not Aries, even though Aries had the bluebird. Right, okay, let's get you some more cards on camera. What have we got? Oh, immediately. All is connected. Aries also had that card. Anything else for Taurus? All is connected and weaving flowers. Weaving flowers together. It's interesting, I saw roses. So all is connected. This idea of... I'm doing that Santaro thing. If you've been watching Santaro and she's got a new channel. She does this this thing, which I kind of was trying for a while. Weaving it all together. Maybe go and watch Santaro. Interesting, because you've got all this cobweb energy. Is this something that you're doing? Oh my god, I want you to go and watch Aries' reading as well. Like, not just for the views and view count. It doesn't matter on this channel, which is why I randomly changed the name and didn't tell anyone. I was like, whoever's meant to find me is meant to find me. You know, the messages will find whoever the messages are for. Is that a tiny little spider on there? It is a tiny little... I'm sorry if anyone doesn't like spiders. There's a few in this reading. Everything's connected. And then weaving the flowers together. I want to say the flowers are the signs that Spirit is sending you. You're making some connections. Could be dreams, because this spider web here looks like a dream catcher to me. Abracadabra underneath that. Dream catcher, dream weaving. So can you see here that it looks like a dream catcher? There's all these spider webs here as well. So you're making connections with something, and I want to say these connections, it's getting bigger. It's like you're drawing... I want to say it's like you're drawing something around you. You're making connections and pulling something around you. I don't know if it's like a protective thing. Like spider webs protect the spider web, right? But there's something about... Because it's like, where are the flowers, right? You're weaving flowers. Here she's weaving leaves. Excuse me, what is she weaving together? Here's this flowers here as well, look, on the spiderweb card, these lilies. So, like I say, here it looks like the angel, the messenger, whoever you're in communication with. Look here as well, it's like she's tying them all together. Fizz. You're making some connections here. I don't think most people are, but you're making connections where other people aren't. Because you're getting all these little signs, right? These are like... The reason why I'm saying, like, these are the flowers. So I know the feathers here, but the way it looked to me at the beginning of the reading, the way I first interpreted this, is like it's coming down. See all this like dust and feathers, like all this stuff coming down. And it's kind of like coating this Queen of Pentacles. You can see, look, she has got a little bird actually. Look, there's the spring bird. Yeah, she's kind of like covered. Can you see all these flowers? She's got, it's like she's collecting dust, because underneath that is the dust devil moving out of stagnation. I want to say the stagnation had a purpose. There's this idea of kind of collecting things, being coated in something. I'm seeing it here as well now, like this solid energy. And here, like it's like he's been there for so long that he's kind of started to collect dust, right? He's kind of got these mushrooms growing on him. Like part of the furniture, somebody who's part of the furniture, but there's stagnation with that. So the storm could actually be useful. This storm spirit and the chaos, it could have a practical purpose. Like, you know, everything happens for a reason. And yes, we might have some fear around it at first, but when we see the connections, when we see kind of how the dominoes fall, you know, the end result, we can sometimes think, oh, that's why I had to go through that stormy period. That's why that happened, because I needed a shake up, you know, I needed something. Interesting. Very strong Capricorn energy. You've got the Queen of Pentacles, the Dust Devil, and you actually have the Devil card down here. So being in something too long, stagnating in it. But it's like it's all, the dust is like settled on you. I don't know why I'm reading it as you. Again, take it, it might be this older wife, mother, female. But it's because the threads are connecting it all. Everything's connected. It's like memories, like things that are nostalgic. Again, people, like webs can symbolize networks of people, communication. I didn't talk about the crows, the whale and the crows. So crows to me symbolize chatter, gossip, spies. The crows know, the crows watch. If you watch the behavior of crows, they work as a family, they work as a group, and they watch, they observe, and they're very clever, and they chatter. So to me, the crows can symbolize, like I say, gossip or, information that's spread on a needs to know basis. It can also indicate news. Crows can be very symbolic for me when, as a warning sign, an early warning sign. So either a secret is being talked about, a secret's known, a secret's surfacing. Again, it could be a secret that we see in the news. Again, I want to stay out of political stuff. Feels like perhaps gathering information, gathering sources, gathering, it's very fingery, gathering stuff around this big hidden thing. Okay, let's get you more cards. So I've got some D&D cards for you. This is like a bit of a theme for this set of readings. So this is a D&D tarot deck. It's an official Dungeons and Dragons tarot deck. These are actually Dungeons and Dragons playing cards. They are the Bard cards. They have like spells on them and things like this. So I thought it'd be fun to just kind of see what came out of this for you, kind of as advice. Oh, you've got a few. You've got Page of Strength. Look at that goblin. Page of Strength. I want to say strength reminds me of wands. I don't know if it's meant to symbolize the wands in the tarot. And you have, this came through with the initiative. You have the initiative with the Ace of Wands here. So the Page of Wands would hold the wands. Page of Strength, Knight of Strength, Knight of Intelligence. Oh, some action is being taken. Taking the initiative. And you are absolutely, it's like you get an early warning sign, you get a heads up. It's like you have the initiative, right? And you run with it, but you could be very impulsive. It could work for you. Sometimes leadership and impulsivity and decision making is needed when a storm's coming in. So for example, if a storm was coming in and everybody sat around going, where should we go? Should we go to high ground? Should we stay where we are? Like, what should we do? Sometimes you need the person who's like, get in the car, go. Because if we sit here thinking about this, the streets are going to be blocked, right? We're not going to go anywhere. So if we want to move, we have to move quickly. So it's like that. It's kind of like thinking on your feet, gut instincts. But the Knight of Intelligence, because I'm reading this as the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Intelligence as well. There's strategy. It's quick thinking. It's reactive. It's quick. It's spontaneous. But there is intelligence there. There is thought there, right? There is a plan. This isn't just balls to the wall. Let's see how we go. This is action with strategy behind it. So you are being asked to take the lead, take the initiative, think quickly, be fast on your feet. And you've got Dancing Lights. Okay, I don't know all these. Again, it's I bought this for my eldest. They're really into D&D at the moment. So I don't know what to do with this. Dancing Lights. So I'll bring this up if you're into D&D. You can kind of look at the details. It says, you create up to 4 torch-sized lights, which would be the 4 of fire, making them appear as torches, lanterns, or glowing orbs that hover in the air for the duration. You can also combine the 4 lights into one glowing, vaguely humanoid form of medium size. Okay, like you can pause that and look at that if you want to. Again, this is a D&D Bard deck. My son just came for a hug. Okay, so yeah, so you're taking the initiative. I want to say it's like you're lighting the way for others. Like you are the hope. You're the chosen one. It's like you're being put into a leadership position because people need a leader in times of chaos, because people want to follow a strong character, right? Especially one that symbolizes hope and light and you know, direction. Like, we're gonna get through this. I know it's scary, but I've got a plan. Follow me. You know, it's kind of charismatic again with that kind of Wands energy. Ace of Wands there. I want to say you are being asked to step into a position where you are inspiring and guiding others at this time. Okay, cool. Again, this is kind of early part of the year, so first 3 or 4 months. You'll know it when you see it. 2 strength there as well. Look at that cool image. Badass. So you're a badass. Taurus, that's what the cards are saying this month. I love that. I'm not going to kind of read all the details of those because that's a lot of cards to come through, but interesting. Interesting energy. So I want to get you a song at this point, even though you've got a million songs already. Let's get you one more. Oh, Birds as well. I forgot to mention it. It's on the bottom of my notes. It will be in the description box below. Birds by Imagine Dragons. It's kind of coming to me as, it does say birds fly in different directions. Again, you've got this idea of 2 branches of the family tree, like people branching off from each other. War of the Roses kind of thing, the reds and the white roses going in different directions. They do come back together. I'm not encouraging, you know, familial fighting, you know, but sometimes families do need to split up and break apart for a variety of reasons, and you know, you go your way, we'll go our way, and it doesn't have to be that there's discord and animosity there. You know your situation best. Let's get you a song. Let's go ahead and get it on camera. Sorry about all the reflection, you can see my dirty window. What do we have? Oh, did you see? So we got Paddy Power Games advertisement, but you might have seen the song that flashed up was Stainless. I think it's 311. I don't know if it's 311, 311. Stainless. Holding on to a dream, unknown destination, feels like 1,000 miles till another station. Far out beyond the prying eyes and neon sky, the answers quickly multiply and ideas begin to fly. How many journeys on this trip? I say how much time till I live to RIP. I don't want to die, just give me 6 more lives till I feel equipped. Take the name of the sycophants, smash their dreams into little bits. I don't want to die, just give me 6 more lives till I feel equipped. Not for the faint of heart, it will not be painless. You'll take your licks and you'll never come out stainless. Outlandish dreams can come to pass, it happens so fast. Sorry if you can hear my tummy rumbling there. There's no end to what you can achieve, but first you've got to believe. You've got to believe. And it carries on. I'll let you look up the lyrics of that song. It'll be in the description box down below. Stainless. Okay. You'll take your licks and you won't come out stainless. You seem like you're ready for battle, Taurus, in some sort of way. You feel like you're ready to put up a bit of a fight here. I might have an idea why. Let's get into the cards. So, like I say, your cards start with this idea of this guardian spirit for you, this bigger energy, this subconscious guidance system that's kind of coming in for you. Maybe when you meditate, dropping the keys in your lap almost, or sending you signs. It's like they're definitely guiding you with the intention of protecting the future. And the future is obviously hope for the future. We're protecting the future. There's hope here. So it does feel like you're going into a bit of a stormy period where there could be some chaos, there could be some battling that you need to do. You know, you're not going to come out stainless, you're not going to come out unscathed, but you feel very, with those 2 nights, you feel, at this point in the reading at least, very, very prepared, right? Because I want to say you've got the initiative, you've got the heads up, you've got the advantage. So, like I say, it feels a little bit like maybe you have felt like life is stagnating. So it's almost, you know, sometimes the stormy situations come in almost as a blessing, because it's kind of like some people rise to the occasion, right? It's kind of, you were ready for it. You know, life had got boring, life had got stagnant. You know, you feel like every day is repetitive. So when something a little bit chaotic comes along, sometimes it can be an opportunity to kind of like, you know, even like dust off the old sword, dust off the old armor, and kind of, you know, get swinging again. Not that I'm encouraging anyone to literally fight, because that is, I think, bad energy, but you know, you're up for the challenge, whatever this is for you. So you're moving out of stagnation. Again, a lot of Capricorn energy. I can't quite figure out if this is you or something else, with that kind of devil energy there. Moving out of stagnation, shaking it off, right? Like It's kind of like the king has been sat there on his throne. King or queen. I mean, king and queen of pentacles are in partnership, but with them being from two different decks, these are not, this is not a married couple, right? This is not a, these people are not from the same family tree. So, but they are a good match for some kind of collaboration, whoever these are. This is Taurus, this is Capricorn, doesn't have to be those signs. You know, you take or leave it. You kind of might have some idea of who you are in this situation. But it's kind of this energy. It could even be the same person. This energy, because it's both earth energy, pentacles and earth is the same energy. This idea of kind of sitting there for so long that the dust has collected around you. I have this feeling a little bit with myself at the moment. I've been in this house for 10 plus years. So I've got a lot of clutter that I need to clear out, which is a job for this year. So it's kind of like that feeling of kind of, you know, the king's been sat there bored on his throne, king or queen. You know, the peasants are dancing around them, trying to entertain them, trying to cheer them up, you know, putting these garlands of flowers, dressing them up, decorating the crown, you know, decorating their antlers. Oh, the king, haha, bored out of the mind, right? So it's like shaking off all that dust, taking off the flower garland and standing up and being like, wait, I need to be the king again, right? I need to be, I don't know if there's something like Lord of the Rings where it's kind of like, you know, these old-fashioned kings where, you know, the warrior kings, a lot of the time they come into power because they've led an army or because they fought on the battlefield, they've fought for the people, and this brings them fame and reputation, and people trust their king to protect them, and so the king's on the throne there. But, you know, in times of peace, it's kind of like administration stuff, okay, bit boring. You know, it's kind of like the old king kind of like getting back at, like Macbeth. I know Macbeth's a bad example because he's not a good character, but he is a good soldier. He is good. You know, at the beginning of Macbeth, he's a good fighter. He's good at what he does. You know, he's got the soldiers' respect. He's a bad king. He's a terrible king. And so at the end of the play, he has to go back into battle. And there's a moment in, there's like a Russian version of the film that I watched where he's stood there and everybody's putting his armor back on him and he looks like himself again. It's like he's Macbeth again, right? So it's kind of like he has this moment of glory out on the battlefield doing what he's best at, where being a king was never a good fit for him. So this idea of kind of, or being a, he was a warrior king, right? He wasn't the king to sit there rusting on his own throne. So, Two of Pentacles balancing something. But to me, it's looking like this in and out of the two realms. Like sat there, maybe on the throne, as in communication with something higher, giving the directions to the people, in and out of two realities in this gateway. But there's this feeling of being marked again, because this is like the stag, right? The deer that keeps on coming up. I have to say, deers were very symbolic for Capricorns for a while, and there's a lot of Capricorn in this reading. So again, there's something going on there with that. This feeling of being marked. Again, that take me out. You're in the crosshairs. There's something about this card with these tree stumps. Trees can indicate families. And then there's this deer kind of minding their own business. Perhaps there's an idea of being marked. Or feeling like something's coming for you next. Which sounds really scary, but again, like we're using kind of this role-playing D&D setting for whatever's going on in your reality. I don't think anyone's literally coming for you. But again, it could be a feeling of... I don't know. You've definitely had this heads up or feeling like something's coming, which is giving you the initiative, like I say, because this is with Ace of Wands and resourcefulness. The Ace of Wands, it just keeps on coming through with initiative. It's kind of like, because that's the meaning of the Ace of Wands. It's a quick idea, something, a creative solution. It's very new, it's very fast, it's very impulsive, it's very, there's a lot of energy to it, right? It's whatever this is, it's the moment where the king jumps up out of his seat. He's like, I know what to do, with a lot of resourcefulness, right? With preparation, perhaps, because the cactus stores water. I know what to do. And he seems to be speaking something, releasing a statement, because this is with the Eight of Fire, sorry, which is communication and action. He really is jumping up and saying something, giving, you know, suddenly it's like the army's at the front gates and the king jumps up off his throne, shakes off the dust, grabs his armor, and he's like, follow me. I've got a plan. And everybody's like, you have a plan? Like, we're all surprised. And the king's like, I know what to do. Follow me. So it's kind of like, you know, giving everybody their orders, releasing a statement, because it's got speaking your word and voice, and then release. Like, look at these two words together. It's this sudden burst of action and energy and words. And again, this is kind of the meaning of, if I take the literal meaning of the Knight of Strength being the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Intelligence being the Knight of Swords, which is the way I'm reading it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I'm reading this is, it's action and words, right? It's action and voice, action and intelligence, which, you know, those two knights together. The Knight of Wands on his own, oh, he could jump into something and make a big mess of it because he's not put any thought into it. He's reactive. The Knight of Swords, you want to see him, all right? He can be a bit cold, but with the fire of the, I don't know. Hold me back. I don't know. You don't seem to be wanting to be held back though. You seem to be up on your feet, moving, if this is you. And then the Four of Fire is looking to me like, you know, the advice card, like your action that you're taking, or is it your action and movement. So your movement and your action is speaking something into existence, where it talks about the four lights, right? The four lanterns, and the Four of Fire, the Four of Wands, is this feeling of like, I call it my tent peg card, but it often has 4 posts with a light on top. You can see here the 4 lights. It's kind of like we're putting on a party, we're putting on a show, we are opening the doors, we are we're going to be the beacon of hope in the dark times. It makes me think of that Lana Del Rey song, When the World Was at War Before, We Kept on Dancing, right? It's kind of like everyone can come here. Like, you know, like how I said in that Cancerian reading, it's kind of like when the flood comes, because Cancer's got a big house on the high ground, everybody goes to Cancer. It's like, that's the plan. So it's a similar thing. It's kind of like, I've got the resources, because it's with resourcefulness. I've got the resources. Everybody put on the lights, you know, send out the messages. We're going to hold a party. We're going to, everybody come to the Great Hall, right? We'll protect the Great Hall. Something like that. Now, at this point, though, acceptance and the devil fell off the table. So I want to say there's something about not accepting the devil. The devil's not invited. Or accepting the devil at this time is not an option. With the Ten of Water, the Ten of Water is a really positive card. Really interesting with the horns, with the skeleton mask. It's a rabbit, but it's trying to, it's like a rabbit in disguise as, maybe it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing type situation, right? It's like a fox disguised as a, it's not a fox, it's a rabbit. The devil with the antlers. He's got this broken heart. And I would love for acceptance to be on the table. It's like they're also invited, despite them being a difficult character, but they're not. They are off the table. And I want to say that is what is being spoken. King jumps up. I've got a plan. Lights on. We're throwing a party. Everybody's invited except for the devil. The devil does not get to come. But this doesn't seem to be making everybody happy. With the Ten of Water being off the table, it's like some people wanted this person to be there, but they're not. They're not coming. Then we go into Hermit energy, which is interesting because Aries' reading ended with solitude. It's kind of, I don't know if there's this idea of battening down the hatches, right? With this idea of like the web and like drawing this. Do you see what I'm seeing here? There's something about all these lights, right? It's kind of like, you know, like fairy lights. You're stringing the fairy lights up and then you pull them tight and it creates a wall almost. I don't know if that's a thing. Don't pull on lights, that's a bad idea, but visually that's kind of what I'm seeing. This idea of put the light on and everybody's attracted to the light. Do I know if is this a red wedding type situation? It's like close the door, say, you're all trapped. I don't know. See what I'm seeing with that? Haha, the food came to me. If you're doing a D&D campaign, that's a nice switcheroo, isn't it? My neighbours are hoovering. I'm sorry if you can hear that. Wisdom. But somebody has guidance. Somebody... I don't know, maybe that devil doesn't want to go to that party. Seems like a trap. Somebody's got some guidance here. And so this idea of kind of... I don't know, because the Forest Swords talks about resting and healing. It's kind of like maybe like staying in, getting your family in one place, staying in, battening down the hatches. Again, with this idea of like protecting the future. Can you see there's like this baby fox underground? It's like hidden underground energy of safety and security. It's like waiting for the storm to pass, perhaps. Like the storm passes over because everybody's safe inside. Like the doors are locked and barred. You know, the windows are all boarded up. We're gonna hunker down and wait for this to pass through, or at least we're gonna put the children in a safe place to rest and to heal. With that protecting the future card. I don't know. Taurus, that's your reading. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope it's given you some guidance. A little bit confused about what's happening there. I guess it depends on who you are. If you're the King of Earth and you're bringing your family in, especially the children, and battening down the hatches as the storm goes over, then that's really good. I want to read it that way. You know, the devil's not invited. The trouble causer's not invited because, you know, if we've... Could be like a lockdown situation. You're like... you know, when we were going into lockdown, it's kind of like, pick who you're going to be stuck with for the next year, you know, whose house are you going to for the next year, because you can't leave it once you're there. So it could be a situation like that where it's like, if this person's, I don't want to be stuck in a house with this person for a year, right? They will drive me crazy. They pick fights, they're restless, we don't want them in this situation. Kids can come, that person needs to go, stay in their own home, go somewhere else. You know, they're too much of a trouble causer, they're too much of an antagonist. It could be something like that. You know, we're just going to snuggle down, make the best of a bad situation here, hold each other close, wait for the storm to pass over. But that quick action seems to be the quick action, and the communication of telling everybody else what to do in that situation seems to be a big win for you. And putting the lights on, dancing lights. All right, I hope this was helpful. Take care of yourselves. I will see you when I see you. I don't know when the next set of readings is going to be, but yeah, I hope this was helpful to you for the early part of 2024. I want to say you were a key player in the first part of the year. Take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.